3. Hello, SuperCoaches, and welcome to our Vegas preview podcast. Sort of got the start right there, which I'm pretty happy about. We've got the old firm today with Rob Sutherland, Tim Williams. Big 4 games coming up this weekend. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking it's 2 games.
4 teams. Sorry, 4 teams.
Boom, we're off to a good start, aren't we?
Strong.
Starts are always shockers. Any stories during the week?
I didn't have one, so somebody's got to hear banter segment. Big crazy story of the week, and we've done 5 podcasts in 2 weeks. I've got nothing left, right? And then I walk in here, and Jason, the producer, talks about the fact that we're wearing these t-shirts rather than our Hawaiian shirts. He says to me, "Nowhere to hide, fat boy." Maybe he didn't say fat boy, but I'm throwing that bit in. He said there's nowhere to hide in that, not like your flowery shirt where you could get away with a bit. So thanks, Jason. You gave me a segment and a lot of shame and a story for HR later.
Wow, that is wild. It's a bit different having you in that shirt, I have to say.
I kind of like it.
I specifically told you before to wear your Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
And the hope is that we'll get a Hawaiian shirt with the SuperCoach logo on it for you to wear on this podcast.
That'd be great. Merch for days. I just would note that my wife would be really pissed off because I'm wearing blue shorts. It was over 35, so it's shorts. Blue shorts and a black T-shirt, which apparently is a fashion no-no. On to fashion no-nos. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, good, mate. Fashion never been my strong point. I don't think people tune in to look at my sense of style, so I'm okay with it.
I'm just jealous of the thongs and shorts today, that's for sure. Yeah. We've also got a documentary getting made for us today by the great Ben Horn, the cricket reporter. So we're getting filmed from all different angles. What's your big story of the pre-season? Surely a busy few weeks,
I've got a good one, actually. Yeah, last Thursday night had an Oztag semi-final out in the Sutherland Shire.
Yeah.
We went out with a bit of confidence, and we go out and we were playing up against Andrew Fafita and Mitchy Brown, 2 absolute legends of the game, and just straight away went, I don't want to be one-on-one with this bloke with a full head of steam. Anyway, we're up 3-2. The buzzer went, we put a long kick through, or might have put the kick through, the buzzer went. Fafita was positioned himself back at fullback, scooped it up, beats 1, beats 2, beats 3. I'm just sitting there and I'm on my arse. He's beating me as well. I'm just seeing flashbacks of 2016 grand final. Andrew Fafita just beating blokes to win the game. Anyway, he got away. The old knees finally gave him. We got him about 2 metres from the try line. We're into the GF, so got to win up over Fifi.
Oh, very exciting. Congratulations.
That's my one. Thank you.
Very good. We'll get stuck into the burning issues, guys. Ben Trbojevic, obviously the most popular player in SuperCoach, named on the edge this week, which is huge news. Is everyone on him? Is there a worry about his job security with Schuster potentially coming back next week?
Yeah.
Me? You? Go on. You're the expert.
Yeah, righto. Yes, I'll take it. I'm keen on him, yes. There are so many red flags, but he just looks good, and I'm not talking NRL trial against the South Sydney Jersey Flegg team, 3 tries. He looks like he's grown into his body a bit more. He's taller, he's lean. He looks physically ready to make the full-time step up as an NRL regular. Of course, Josh Schuster on the bench, coming back obviously on the bench this week, didn't travel to Vegas, but by round 2, they could be back in Oz. Benny could be on the bench, but at 277k, he's got that dual positioning. The fact that he's got the dual CT dub, he becomes a very viable play at CT dub, which for a cheapie in that position, we know it's pretty hard to come by. So, Look, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Schuster, pretty ordinary pre-season by the looks of it, so I'm backing him in.
And Schuster's going to be back, could be back, maybe he's going to be back for a long time. Like that calf could go at any point, right?
Yeah.
So just pick the guy who's starting. I'm hoping he moves to 13. I think he's got a touch there Zay Yo's about him. That's my dream. Yeah.
Be nice.
Wow, that is a dream, that's for sure. Jesse Arthurs is a guy who I think we're going to get conflicting opinions on, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure you're all over him, and you're probably not.
I wasn't, and now I'm 50-50. Yeah. Go on, give us your pros.
I am either a firm yes or a firm no. I've just heard. I say that because I've heard mixed reports about whether he's playing left or right edge.
Yeah.
And all pre-season, I was under the impression he was playing on the right edge for the Broncos, which is a gold mine. Outside Adam Reynolds, it's Reece Walsh's stronger side. I'm like, what he's priced on is it 37 average or something. That was from the left wing. So if he is on the left wing, I'm not keen on him at all because I don't see what changes to last year. But if he's on the right wing, I think he smashes that 37 average. The Broncos have a pretty tough start to the season, so I'm not expecting, if he does land the right edge role, to blow the game open and average 70 over the first 5 rounds. It might be a slower burn, but I reckon by around 8 or 9, he could be a really easy sort of upgrade to a Greg Marge or whoever you want up there. But he needs to be on the right edge.
He needs to be on the right edge, and that's my fear. This is not like some rookie that we're talking about. This is a guy who's got, I don't know, like 35 games of NRL to his name, give or take. You know, there's 11 here, 11 there, another 10. And he's done the same thing. Like, he's averaged the same every game almost that he's ever played. Like, if he scores a try, he gets 35. If he doesn't score a try, he gets 20. Like, he's not Mr. Work Rate. You know, he's not a big body. He's not bringing the ball up. That's my fear, and 370 is a bit of an awkward price. So I'm happy to go, was it 450 to Taylor May? I don't want to spend 370 on Jesse Arthurs if I can avoid it.
Plenty of questions coming through. You can send them through on Facebook or on YouTube Live. Lots of chat about the shirts. How much are those T-shirts? We should have a merch store, shouldn't we? We don't. I think these are just special edition for us.
2, and you've made me go to the event that's at the Star on Sunday. So I'll give one out to whoever hits me up first.
Oh wow! I think we're meant to keep that in the office for special occasions, but anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm surprised they could get those shirts in Sangster's size.
That's unfair.
Just early fat jokes.
Too early
Fat jokes. And have these 3 won Supercoach before? No, never. Although this guy did get very, very close.
Close.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. It's a painful big
subject. Jacob Gagai. What are our thoughts? He needs a lot of things to fall his way, but they've got the injury to Graham. That's what's his name? Graham? Campbell Graham.
Yep.
Who is out for a long time. Tyrone Munro's out too. Jack Whiten's out in round 3. Plus they've got Isaac Thompson out as well because he couldn't travel to the US. So realistically, how many games do you think Gagai plays?
Yeah, I'm not overly keen on him. If he comes out and brains it in the first 2 rounds, looks set to make a ton of money and more importantly lock down that spot, sure, I'll pick him up. He's worth nothing, but you mentioned Jack White, who's going to come back into that back line there. You've got Ty Munro, who's due back at about round 4. I've seen a reasonable amount of Jacob Gagai in New South Wales Cup. He's about 26 or 27. He's a very solid footballer. He's not a superstar where you get a 20-year-old come through going, this bloke's got the spot long term. I just don't think the job security's there. You've got Tane Milne lingering, Isaac Thompson, as I said, Munro to come back, White to come back. I'm happy to eat my words in 2 weeks' time if he kills it and I'll buy him, but I just don't want to start with him.
That's the point, right? It doesn't cost us anything to wait 2 weeks. Just wait and see. I think he's 28. I think it's great that a 28-year-old's going to make his NRL debut, but there's probably a reason he didn't make it 8 years earlier. Yeah.
Speaking of controversial picks, Payne Haas is a guy who, I mean, you've got strong opinions on this, and I agree with you on this theory that you don't want to be spending too big in the front row. Payne Haas is a gun. You'll have him in your team at some stage, one of the greats of Supercoach. But do you want to be spending that money at prop when there's barely any cheapies this year? You've got to really skimp in a lot of positions.
Yeah, I'm pretty strong and always have been on the not paying up for front rows early on in the season. And like, preface it by saying Tino Fasuamalawi, Payne Haas, they're probably the 2 top averaging front rows at the end of the season, sure. But early on in the year, they're not going to generate value for your team. They're not. Tino might, but he's very expensive. They're not going to go out and score big tons that get you off to that flyer that you're after. They both probably come out and average that 70 odd to start the season. They'll be rock solid. But if we can find a mid-ranger or even a cheapie like Sam Hughes, if they can come out and average 45 when the other Haas or Tino average 70 and they're 500k cheaper, I'm taking that every time. So Payne Haas, for example, didn't score a ton last season. He's got 2 tons to his name in the last 4 years. They were scores of 105 and 106. I'm not scared of not owning him at all to start the year.
Yeah, he's not Mr. Big, but he is Mr. Consistent, isn't he? Like, I think he had 94% of his games went 60 and over, and the other one I think he failed by 2. You know, so I used to like playing up, getting one big gun front row. That was always my preferred style. Because then it's a trade I'm not going to use and I'm locking him in. I prefer Tapane if I'm going to do that though. No origin, plays more games, has more durability. If I'm going to pay for a prop, that's him. But I'm not. I'm going to go 2 mids. I don't like doing Sam Hughes as a front row as a front row too. I don't want to bench front row. I want both of mine starting and playing solid minutes. That's my sort of addition to that. Yeah.
Question coming through from Michael Donaghy, and it's a good one. Are Burbo and Kane Bradley traps? Well, first of all, Burbo we've covered. He could be. Bradley, I'm actually firming to, because it came out this week that Sean Blaw has been struggling with an injury during the pre-season. So that means that Bradley could have that spot locked in with Liero playing in the middle rotation this year. So job security, it's not great, but for a cheapie, it's not bad.
Yeah, honest answer on Bradley, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because we saw a bit of word that Blaw had an eagle throughout the pre-season, and that's why there was limited time. Like, God knows what's going on with Jack Howarth, who was signed on massive money, long-term deal, and just cannot seem to get into Craig Bellamy's favour. Bradley sort of comes out of nowhere. He played wing and back row in Queensland Cup last season, then all of a sudden gets named on the edge in the trial. We had Joe Chan, who was really impressive in the trial as well, who could be a sneaky little one. Bradley, at the price with that dual positioning, it is the definition of a Teamless Tuesday watch next week. If he gets named to start there, it might be too hard to pass up, but fire, there's a lot of red flags.
Look, agreed, but for now, he's going to be my 7 centre wing. Like, it costs you nothing, throw him in there. Even if it ends up just being a flexible dual position piece you can move around when you're trading, there's a value to that. Bellyache has a history of trusting guys that go well in trials and rolling them into round one, and he also has a history of perhaps not trusting the more mercurial style player that Sean Blaw can be. So maybe he just wants that rock solid, safe 38 tackles, second row. And
the beauty of it as well, if you do start with him and Benny Trebojevic, just to have that duel between 2RF and CT Dub. If anyone wanted to start Dylan Lucas as well, who looks somewhat appealing,
or a Jamin Salmon.
Yeah, you could have a few there, which would be very handy. So I see why people would do it, and I might do it. I just want to see him getting named first.
Let's talk guilty pleasures, and these are the guys that you shouldn't pick, but your heart is telling you to go there. Josh Curran is an interesting one, because I think he's going to play from the bench. Is he still an option if he plays from the bench? We were hoping he would play lock and play big minutes. If he was playing 60 minutes at lock, he's going to be one of the best buys of the year. Playing prop or middle or whatever he will be off the bench, is he still an option? I'm still going there just because of his PPM and his work rate and what he's shown us in the past. But there are red flags there. He's got injury history. Who knows how the Bulldogs pack is going to look like, and who knows what the minutes are going to be like in that pack as well. Who's your guilty pleasure?
Mine? I've got two.
Yes.
Lachlan Galvin and Kai Pearce-Paul. Galvin is just... he's just good. Like, he's been good at every age group he's ever played. He's bigger than you think, or bigger than some people sort of give him credit for, thinking he's just a half. But he can flex out all the way out to second row if he had to. I think he's got that much size. The Tigers are not a great team. They're a building team. You know, Benji's got a history of giving kids... well, no, his own. Benji has a history of making it to the NRL very young, right? And he's backed Galvin and said, if you're good enough, I'll pick you. Benji also doesn't have much to lose, right? So he's not going to get dumped if they go badly this year. Kai Pearce-Paul, he's the English Sonny Bill. How can you not pick him? I like that. I know he's probably going to come off the bench, but Barry Toohey, said that he's putting legit pressure on... Is the guy Lucas?
Yeah.
And that's all I need at 330k as my 7th or 6th second row forward. I'm not going to pick you, or 5th. I just want to have you there. Curran, just quickly, I've got him bracketed with Lane. I've got the same problem. Lane, I know you're very big on Lane, but it worries me that...
Getting colder after the weekend.
That really worried me. And so I've got those two together, and I'm like, I'll probably have one of them, but I don't think I can have two of them now in my midst.
There's a bit of a concern, Kelma Tuolangi coming over and killing it,
yes.
and actually started that game on the left edge. So this set and forget 80-minute edge back row with Sean Lane at value. He was my first player picked in my team. Didn't budge all season.
Yeah.
I'm still keeping him. He's not going anywhere, but he could be a 55-60 minute role based on what Tuolangi did there. On the Tigers, Galvin, got the best team of newsbreakers on the planet at the Telegraph, obviously. Buzz leading the way. What's the word? Round 2. Do you think he's going to be there?
Unfortunately, they're all in Vegas at the moment at the casino. So when our newsbreakers get back,
we'll
we'll
find
follow
out.
up. Yeah.
No one is chasing the Tigers at the moment, that's for sure, given they got the bye in round 1. So
We need someone to get the
Think of the super
get it out.
coaches.
Just that little problematic 5'8" position, just slotting in Galvin if we knew he was going to be starting. I suspect he won't be just because he is so young. I think maybe he's in off the bench. But if we knew he was, just that little 5'8" spot, Ethan Strange down at CT Dub.
But if you've got Dylan Brown, he doesn't have a bye to like round 7, I think, round 8. So you can stash Galvin there and trust, hope.
Yeah,
you know? It's risky. It's risky.
Yeah.
even on the bench, he's not that bad because he would come on and probably play in the forwards and doesn't have to be an injury in
We'll
the
play
halves
that
or anything
new
like
14 utility role. That Dylan Walker style.
Yeah. Let's chat late mail. Brendan Piakura is going to play. He's been cleared. Is he in for you?
Absolutely.
He's in for me as well. I think eye test has clinched it for me.
Yep. Lock and load. Done.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. What's going to happen in the Roosters back row? Wong and Tupanua. Are they serious contenders? Are they going to stay there for a while and make us decent cash? Or is Nat Butcher just going to pop in and go back to that basically 80-minute role on an edge?
I think it actually hinges, a bit weird, I think it hinges on Maria Hargraves to an extent. So I think when Jared's back, they've got an extra middle on the bench and they could move Nat, because Nat is an edge who can definitely play middle. You know, he's just a tackling machine. So they can move Nat to an edge when Jared's there. But you've got two Butchers, you've got Angus. Like, there's so much competition for two spots in the back row. I can't have any of them because of that. Yeah.
That whole pack is an absolute killer because there could be like 5 incredible buys there, couldn't there, at their values, or there could be none. And trying to guess what the minute spread will be in that pack is such hard yards. I think Sandon Smith getting named at the 14 is good because we sort of know he'll come in, he'll probably spell Brandon Smith for maybe 20 odd minutes, can obviously slot in the halves and other spots as well. If it was Connor Watson as the 14 in the utility, he becomes another middle forward and it's another question on minutes. But with Maria Hargreaves to come back in, you know, Lenyu's starting, he's cheap. Terrell May has been really popular and someone I'm keen on, but off the bench, my big worry is Watson coming back and just having that 4 essentially middle forward bench. Angus Crichton isn't even in the team. If he gets anywhere near his best again, he's the best edge back row in the world just about. He might be past that, but he can play middle, he can play edge. Who knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
All right, it sounds like that was almost a semi-rant there, and we're going into our rant of the week segment. Our professional ranter over here is Rob Sutherland, so we'll get you to start.
I don't have a real rant. I just have a little bit of I'm pissed off, right? So we put up a video this morning, Bomber Bedell, Pete Bedell filmed Marty Tapau, like just doing some run-throughs, some block plays, nothing special at the Broncos training in LA. And the Broncos contact us and say, "Oh, that's an opposed session. You've got to take it down." Oh, God. You're not freaking rocket science, guy. Like, there's nothing special going on, guys. It's just bog standard plays. Like, don't have tickets on yourselves. Like,
Can't you just imagine Trent Robinson watching that little clip that goes up on the Courier Mail and everyone goes,
"Oh, they're doing that." Watch Adam Reynolds. Watch Adam Reynolds. He's tricky.
Yeah.
You know.
Get honest because we're not losing because we've seen that clip.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty good rant. What's yours?
My rant is that I'm enjoying the SuperCoach expansion into video content this season. As you said, behind the scenes documentary from Benny Horn going on as we speak. And
I wish we could turn the camera around on it.
But my gripe is, and my rant is that I'm seeing a lot of your head on Instagram, mate. Not enough of your head. I reckon it's about 10 to 1 sat instead of Rob videos, and I'm just crying out for more of
There's
you, Rob.
There's a very good reason.
Yeah,
because I suck at doing that sort of thing.
He's a reluctant hero, this one.
The best one.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. You got him.
You can film yourself. It becomes very meta. Yeah.
Especially Rob.
You look so professional just on the iPhone.
You look very comfortable doing these ones, like straight down the barrel of the phone. I thought you looked good with that. I want more of that.
Yeah, the one that you did in your living room was sensational. There's all the art in the background.
I can't crap about that.
The grand piano in the corner.
Screw you, lot.
So this Vegas party that we've got at the start this weekend, which is coming up, there are still a couple of tickets available. It's going to be 500 super coaches banged into the Star Sports Bar watching games having drinks, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be fun. I've been trying to convince Rob. I reckon I asked him, 37, 38 times to be on the panel for this.
It was the
I
tears
got him on the 39th.
It was the tears at the end. The
tears.
Think of the children, Rob, please.
I did not say that. I said, I really want you there, mate.
Corey Parker really wants to meet you, Rob.
Oh, and you've already written some jokes to get stuck into Corey Parker too, which is going to be interesting.
That's a legitimate story. Like I won't go into it.
All right, no-go zone. Who's a player that you think is just way too high in the rankings? I'll start. Ezra Mann. I know he was really good in that grand final. I think he's a great player. Is he a SuperCoach player? No, I don't think he is. Doesn't have the base, doesn't kick goals, which is crucial for a lot of our halves. I don't think he should be that high in the ownership.
Tim?
You go, mate.
Oh, well, look, I'll throw in Viliami for feeder. I don't understand that at all. Even if he is picked, then he's just a bench warmer at best. He's got this incredible sort of following, and I can only assume that it's people who don't realise that it's not David Fafita available for $200 and something thousand. So, yeah, back that one up.
No go. Timmy?
Oh, my no-go. I'm just going through the list because I was just going to go on about that front row slot and talking about how I just didn't want to go up and pay big. We've sort of already covered that. So,
who are your mids then? Who are the front rows you are picking?
TLT on Tuesday, throw up a few spanners, but
come on, commit.
I'm weighing up going one cheapie there and just really saving cash around there. I'm tossing between Terrell May and Jai Arrow. The Bunnies bench I didn't like. I'd sort of heard a bit of chat around that Peter Mamazelos was going to get the 14 spot, which I thought, sweet, great news for essentially every forward at the Bunnies and minutes there, except for Damien Cook. Havili got that, who might spell Cook for a little bit, but will also spend time in the middle.
He's a bit of hook, a bit of middle, yeah.
So it just doesn't help. But I do think Jai Arrow, if Mamazelos was there, he could have been an 80-minute edge back rower, even at worst, maybe like a 60 to 65, plug a hole as a mid-range front row forward. Terra May's the other one. I sort of spoke about the Roosters before, but the closer we get, I'm just tempted to see and watch how that plays out the first two rounds and see who gets the minutes.
Yeah.
Quick question on captains. Who are you thinking? Is anyone tempted to go straight C Tom Trbojevic in that first game over in Vegas? I think I'm going to lock it in and just get a jump on people.
I'm very tempted, and one thing I am doing is putting the Vegas players that I do have in my team in the starting 13, not sitting on my bench, because it's a pain in the arse if then if the guy that you've got as your starter doesn't work and you've got to move him around, it's just easier to get him out of the way. But I can't ignore, it's Ponga's playing, is it the Raiders? Sorry, I don't want to be rude, but I think he's going to score a lot of points. So I think I'm just going to vice captain Nico, captain Ponga.
Yeah. You're that's blasphemy, but I'm also thinking Ponga. It's a good matchup. You've got some pretty relatively weak defensive edges at the Raiders. Ethan Strange has to do a tremendous job if he
was very good. He was cutting down Lukey.
Yeah, did a great job on him. It could be KO weeks there, but either way, Ponga in the pre-season, he looked good. He looked sharp. We know what he did last year, so I'm thinking to see on Ponga next weekend. That's the Thursday game, so the third of the round, so it doesn't leave me with many VC opportunities.
There goes my VC idea. Yeah. I'll get a VC out of Vegas somehow.
We are running a little bit short on time, so we're going to whip through a couple of questions now. Thomas McKaylee, is there any love for him? He was really good in that final trial. Hess got injured. He came on and just killed it. 4 offloads, couple of tries. And it looks like he could get that spot for round 1 now that Hess is out, probably for the whole season. But there are other really good cheapies at prop, including Samuel Hughes, for example, Liam Henry. There's a bunch of others.
I don't like McKaylee. I do like Neem. If you're going to, you're talking about the 400,000 odd front row forward. Griffin Neem has shown that he can handle big minutes. He played really well in the tests, and he should have minutes handed to him when you've got JTB is the other one that's in. Tornell Brown is injured. So if you're looking for an odd 400,000 guy, I like Neem. I'm not into McKaylee.
Yeah, another one I think I'm just keen to have a look at early in season minutes. He was really good in the trials. The reality is he did the damage against the Raiders that last 15-20 minutes against essentially the New South Wales Cup side. Had a lot of new faces come on. Looked good, but again, another bit of a journeyman being across a few clubs. Always been hyped. if he does get minutes, he bust tackles, he offloads, can obviously score a try. So I see the appeal there, but one I'm more thinking of as a round 3 if he goes well.
I've got a question that I'll direct at Rob. Has Ricky Stewart got any idea on who's going to start?
Ricky's got no idea about rugby league, let me tell you. Mate,
I'm very hopeful Ethan Strange is in there, but that means KO Weeks won't be an option.
Strange was good.
One of those will be a cheapie, though.
You'd think he did that, but my only thing about Strange is he's a bit Fogarty-esque. You know, they're both organisers per se, whereas Weeks is that more classic 5'8". He's a bit of a runner, but yeah, Ricky does like defence, and Strange impressed there. So, I mean, you've got the inside word. If we're going to ask anyone, it's the man with milk in his veins.
I think going into the pre-season, there was obviously a shootout between Strange and Weeks. Weeks was the front runner for sure. Based on my eye test, no inside information, I'd be not shocked, but disappointed if Strange wasn't the starting 5'8". I thought he looked really good. The defensive job he did on Healan Lukey on the weekend was tremendous. He's a strong ball runner, strong defender. I think he'll be the 6, and very keen on him. If it is KO Weeks, job security concerns me, output concerns me. Yeah.
Well, that's it for our preview podcast. If you are free on Sunday, come down to the start of the sports bar. All 3 of us will be there with 500 other super coaches watching games. Rob's going to be telling jokes. It's going to be...
No jokes.
It's going to be fun. Thanks, boys. We'll catch you then.
Bye.